Hello, hello. I'm just getting it started up now. I'll be right with you in a second. Just trying to get all the announcements and whatnot's going here. Let me find what I'm doing. That would be great. There we go. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can one of you guys throw a link to the live stream in the chat? It's easier than me trying to do it because if I try to link it, it tries to link it out to my screen. That way I can grab one of the links you guys are looking at, and then I can just put it on the Discord. All right, so what I'm building this time is I started work on this. This is going to be a career build series for tomorrow, most likely, the end of it. So what I'm doing here is, so this was the thought process. Let's save this really quick, and I'll kind of walk you guys through what the thought process was. So long time ago, the cargo and logistics people decided that intermodal was the way to go, and I highly agree. So intermodal container is intermodal. It's modular and it works. It's inter. It works with all the different times. Yeah, just stick the link in there, Skelton, if you can. And so what it allows you to do is you can take a container, you can put it on a truck, you can put it on a train, you can put it on a ship. And so what that's good for is it allows you to interconnect your systems and work with that. So I started working on this intermodal mineral hopper. And the point of this is to fix some of the issues the devs had with how they built Industrial Frontier, frankly, not from a very good place logistically. And the issue is this: the containers in game weigh a little less than 2,000, and so they're not too bad, and most of the systems I built and most of the stuff can handle that. The issue is when you start filling it with minerals, it gets very, very, very heavy. And so something like this is insanity to try to lift. And so pretty much put a scrub on that. So what I switched to is more of a skip design. They have these dumpsters and they are easily loadable on and off of trucks. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a mineral skip system like this. This is my new intermodal system. And as you can see, this will hold 243 units of minerals. And so what this is good for is this allows me to easily move the minerals from Industrial Frontier. Industrial Frontier, in my opinion, is all screwed up logistically speaking. I'm going to make a rant video about this at some point and put it up with constructive criticism and try to put it on the bug tracker. The devs will probably not, change it because of me, but hopefully they get some ideas and try to fix it. I really like Industrial Frontier. I like it to be fixed. And so these are some of the issues with Industrial Frontier. The Industrial Frontier DLC was great in the sense that it added tons and tons of rail networks. And you can pretty much go anywhere with the trains. That was something the train community was asking for. That is awesome. This is the issue. They didn't make it so you could actually do some of the industry with mostly a train. You're constantly, like last career build series, I built a road railer, and the whole point was because you couldn't do it all with a train. You had to then take a truck and hook it onto the train to make it work. What I'm trying to do is fix some of that. And so we'll see how this goes. And so what the thought process is here, say you're up here and you're mining iron. So you mine, mine, mine. You want to then go put it on a train. Okay, so you put the ores on a train. Yay, done. Then you take the train and you bring it down here to the Empire Industries. All right, let's look at what I think they made huge mistakes with at Empire Industries. Now, I know people have made add-ons for this, but the issue is this: add-ons will often, especially over time with updates, break, and then you need the individual people who worked on the add-ons to fix them, and then they can add a lot of SV environmental lag. This here is one of the biggest issues they did. They put this hopper, which is the dump area for here, over here. I measured this the other day. It's at least 9 blocks from here. It's about 11 to be able to dump in here. So they put the train tracks 11 blocks from where you have to dump. So in real life, they have side dump cars. Great. So where should it be? Right here, next to it. It should be right here, and a side dump would work. What would be better than that? A bottom dump. You put a bottom dump here, and the train bottom dumps like you would in real life, and the ores would go right in here. So that's problem number one. The other one here. This is all sand. You would never drive a truck out in the middle of the sand here. You would want to stay on hard pavement. So all they had to do was paint a little bit of asphalt here. I know it's the same consistency, but it breaks RP. Hello, lever. And, it breaks RP. Why not just paint a little bit of asphalt to here? And it should be a drive-through. It should be a big square piece of asphalt with a horseshoe driveway. You drive in, you drive out. That would be logistically smart. All right. Then what should you have? You have these great pipes. They look great. They're pipes that go over the tracks. Right here on your drive out on your road, you should have a pipe. The pipe should go over and down, and it should have a funnel for each of the things. It should have lanes for each of the things. And then it should have a very simple thing, a button. So what you should be able to do is drive a truck full of, say, iron ore, back it in here and dump it. Or if you have a side dump it. Or you should make this a complete where you can drive over it. They already have this. They have this with coal. You can go to Spy Cakes and bottom dump coal. And so what they should have done is made this a bottom dump, put one under the tracks, and put one right here. And then you come in and if you have a bottom dump trailer, you'd bottom dump. If you have a rear dump trailer, you just drive past it, raise it up, and dump. And it works. And it goes into the facility. Then you would have funnels here. You go under the corresponding funnel. You press a toggle button. It dumps in there. After, say, 10 minutes, it automatically shuts it off because half the people are going to forget to shut it off. Beautiful. Then you drive on your merry way. Again, this was a huge train update, and they made it so trains are pretty much, infuriating and useless in this. So you should be able to take the train in, come down here, bottom dump, bottom dump, bottom dump, bottom dump, bottom dump. Okay, we're empty. Bring the train out. Now, continue on with the train. This is silly. These all, as soon as you put ore in there, it processes and dumps it on the ground. After 60 seconds, they're gone. The last hour, 2 hours you made, absolutely, gone. And this is at an end stopper. What they should have done is, see this beautiful pipe that's well detailed and everything else? Put some funnels underneath it. You back the train up. You go past the switch. Then you come onto this track, and you have a bunch of funnels. And you pull under the corresponding funnel. You press a button, and guess what? You brought in 5 train cars. And guess what? Now you get to leave with the same 5 train cars, and you drive under here, and when you press the button, it dumps. You pull up the next train car, it dumps. You pull up the next train car, it dumps. Now it's a 10-to-1 for most of them. So if you brought in 5 train cars, you're going to probably fill half a train car, which is fine. But you don't have to do what you currently have to do in game. You have to bring your train in, and, magic, no way to dump over here. So you have to bring a truck or something to get it off the train, or a weird funnel or something that's never been seen in the history of humanity to get it over there. And then before you even dump, you have to put a car under some funnel that is not labeled, that you have no clue what it does, and you have to put it under there and then wait, because as soon as you dump 10 ore in there, it starts pissing them all over the ground. And so you have to have a car waiting. Doesn't make any logical sense. I have 20 years of logistics experience. This infuriates the hell out of me. And it's super solvable right here. Move these funnels here. Put buttons so they don't just dump on the ground and piss away all your money. Make that under there. Put another one right there. Link them. Right? If you look at these in the editor, they're linked already with real ducks. Link the two together, and guess what? They act as one. Beautiful. So that's awesome. That's all they would have to do. Okay. Next thing that's a hair puller outer on this. We come over here to screeches. All right. Again, my logistics brain dies when I come over here. We have, again, a nice looking facility. Great. Put bottom dumps right under these tracks. You don't even have to do extra work. Make them look identical to these. This is fine. Put these identical ones right under the tracks. And you come up with a train, and you go dump, 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 dump. Yay, money. Okay. If you want to take a truck, you just took your truck up, you come in here. This is foolishness. How am I backing a truck in here? Theoretically, I could do most of these. I could probably do them all. But it's ugly. This is silly. All you have to do is see all this asphalt. Extend the asphalt out here like so. If you extended the asphalt out here, a truck can come in, it can turn, it can back in, dump. Come in, turn, back in, dump. Come in, turn, back in, dump. This is silly. I could come in as a professional truck driver and that knows how to actually operate the machine and come in and I could hit this one. I could come up here and maybe snake a corner and hit this one. This one's very challenging for me. This one I can snake in and straight back. That's not bad. This one I have to come in and drive over, hit it. This one I have to bump over this one and hit it. So that's just silly. They could have very easily fixed this. So that is the rant. That's what is wrong with this. And so I'm sick of ranting. And so what we're going to do is fix it. And the one more issue that is screwy, that they really screwed up, that I wish they would fix, is this thing. So this thing is based on a realistic screen. And what a screen does is it has a grate and it shakes. And it has multiple grates often. So the top grate is this has this grating material. You dump a boulder on here, it's shaking, so the boulder will fall off and go into a pile. Then underneath there you have a smaller screen. It's again shaking, and then the intermediary stuff will go on to a different pile. Then the finest material will go through. It goes in through a tumble washer. This thing is tumbles. Those are representing wheels that will turn the tumbler. Water pours in there. It takes the lightest materials, and that would be a gold. It comes through, and guess what? It dumps right on the ground. You lose it all if you don't get it within 60 seconds. So you have to come in with an extra trailer. You have to dump the trailer here. Then you have to go up here, and how the hell are you getting it in here? I measured this one day. This is 3 stories tall. This is like trying to put your gold ore on a 3-story tall building. That is insanity. In real life, a normal size front end loader can come up and dump right in here. So this should be about, I don't know, this tall. Realistically in game, what should this be? Right on the ground. So a truck can come up and dump it there. But beyond that, this shouldn't be where it is. You know where this should be? Right here. This is a beautiful spot for this. You have a train track here and you have a road here. So you go up and you get gold up here, right? You put it all on a train. You go on the train and you bring your train down. And then what should we have here? Oh, the infamous bottom dump. Put bottom dump right here. You dump in here, and guess what? Via magic conveyor belt that we either can see or not see, it goes up into the facility. And then it goes to a funnel. But guess what? It doesn't dump all over the ground and piss all your profits away. It holds on to it until you press the button. And then you have a overhead belt. It would look like the pipe because that's often what they are. They're belts with coverings so you don't get a ton of water on them and in all the mechanics. And you have funnels. And guess what you do? When you're ready, so you take in 5 of the train cars. They're all full. You dump them in here. You get 1/10 out, so you're getting half a train car full of gold. You pull into the funnel. You fill up the first train car half full, and then guess what? You move on your way and you go to that Empire facility and you're good to go. So that would be how they fix this. So these are all the issues we have. And so what I'm trying to do today is solve these issues. So let me just check chat really quick. I see a million people in here, so let's get it going. Apparently the ranting's helping. Yeah, so like this is, people are kind of commiserating with it. We've got people agreeing with, you need multiple vehicles to do something that one person should be able to do. And even if we had, even if you had 5 people playing multiplayer and it was working perfectly, it would still be logistically illogical. And you can have all this fun stuff with, with 5 people playing and have it be logical. And you can also make it so that one person can play it. So let's go ahead and we're going to go back to the warehouse, hangar, whatever we want to call it. And so we're going to work on my new system. I've been pulling my hair out trying to come up with a good system for this, and I think I found it. What's up, Lever? And so, we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at what my solution is going to be. So we have these skips. I did a bunch of testing, and if these get more than about 260 minerals in there, they start to become a pain to lift. And we're going to need to be able to use a crane to theoretically, I have not made a PID controller tutorial. They're usually in my regular car videos. I tend to, if you use a modular engine, I tend to start around 0.18, work around there and just fine tune the p-value. I only do p-value tuning. And so This is about 240, what is it, 246? 243. 243 mineral will fit in here. This can already be picked up with cranes. So if you guys watch the career build series from the other day, this side loading trailer, I just tested this out. I can load these on. And so I can load those little skips on a trailer like this. And so what I'm going to actually do is, we'll actually start working on this a little now. Let's go ahead and I have a trailer template. This trailer template already has my T-test system. It has the frame. It has ICC bumper and DOT tape on there. It's good to go. So what's going to happen on here is I can fit about 5 of those skips on here. What I want to do is on the back of the trailer, I want to build a crane and I want to build some stability legs, some stabilizer legs. And the plan is this. What we're going to do is, in order to fix some of these issues with Industrial Frontier, let's say we want to go up and we want to mine iron. So we're going to go up with my scraper. All right, and to refresh everybody what my scraper looks like, here's the scraper. I like the scraper. It works like a real scraper, but this is the issue with the scraper. It dumps here on the ground, so I need an auger to be able to bring it up and dump it into a trailer. So me as a solo player, I have to bring the scraper and auger and a tractor trailer to be able to fill the tractor trailer. And so that's a little bit excessive. That's one extra piece of equipment I have to drag up. That's a lot of extra trips. And this dumps on the ground. So what I'm going to do instead is this. This is going to turn into like a flatbed on the back. And so we'll essentially cut out all this area here, and this will be flatbed. Okay, and all this internal storage will be gone. And so what will happen here is that will be cut out, and then what will go into place is one of the skips. All right, and one of these skips will go in the back. And let's say that skip goes right there. All right, and this will most likely be dragged on via some crane arms. So you'll have a couple crane arms. They'll grab onto these rope anchors, lift it up, and put it on the top, on the back of it. Then what will happen is these drills here, let's see, do we have ducts? We'll take a couple ducts, which the ducts are very ugly, but they are what we have here. Let's undo the skip. So the ducting will go up like this, pretty simple. We'll just do a quick and ugly for right now. You'll have funnels. And then you'll put a skip back in. And the skip will go in the back something like this. All right, so as the scraper is going, it will spit ore into this. When this is full, it will drive up to where the truck is waiting. This will be offloaded. It will pick up an empty one, load it, and then it will go back to drilling. Now, what the truck will do is, if we take the template trailer, I'll build this trailer. This can hold probably 4 of those skips on it with a crane on there. There's going to be a crane in the back. So now when it arrives, it will have 4 empty skips. It will use the crane, put the 4 empty skips on the ground. Then the scraper comes up with a full skip. It dumps the skip on the ground. It grabs an empty skip, go off and drill. The crane then grabs the full skip, loads it, loads it, loads it, loads it. Once this is full, it drives off. When it gets to, let's say you want to load it on a train, okay? If you want to load that on a train, you come down from the Iron Mountain, you come right here. You then use the same crane off of the truck to load it onto a train cars. Now, we can also build a train car with some cranes. Train car heads out, and it has these little cranes that will side dump, and as it goes down the tracks, it lifts up one of the skips, puts it over the dump area, dumps, 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 and you back in, get it. So you'd have to back in first, dump one of them with the skips in it, come out here, back, dump, 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 then pick up your train car and move on. And then you come up here, and we still have some issues here, but what we could do is offload a bunch of skips and then have a truck put them away. So those are some options to try to get this a little bit more manageable where we can actually play with some of this stuff and not pull our hair out. I'm just reading the chat a little bit. Yeah, I'll do a tutorial at some point. It's one of those topics you get like 28 people saying, you know, oh, it's better to do it this way, it's better to do it this way. It's like there's 100 ways to skin a cat, and so, but I'll do it at some point. Yeah, I agree, SPC8. I wish there was something better than the ducks. The ducks are enormous. They're 3 by 3, so they're almost a meter cubed. That's annoying. They're too big. I wish we had a belt system. That would be kind of nice. I'd say 1 by 2 by 3 would be kind of cool. You know, that would be a little bit more on the size constraint. But the other thought too is by putting a crane on this trailer, you know, the what do you call it? The screen there at the gold processing plant is about this tall. And so what it will allow me to do is, let's say we pull up to the gold processor, right? Again, we'd have to bring one empty skip with us, right? It's a 1 to 10 ratio. So as long as we bring 4 of the dirty gold ores, or 3 of the dirty gold ores and 1 empty, we could pull over to where the funnel is. We could take the crane, offload 1 skip underneath the funnel. Dropped, good. Then we could drive back up to the screen. The crane would grab a skip, load it in, grab a skip, load it in, grab a skip, load it in. And then we would go pick up our full skip and we could move on. So it is a pain, but it's going to be the only way we can actually play with this content. I was really hoping, yes, I agree, don't skin cats. I was really hoping that this last update on the 9th would have, this is what they were working on, but instead they gave us goats and stuff, which, listen, extra content, updates, great. I'm glad they gave us some updates. I'm glad they gave us some extra content, but there were so many glaring issues with Industrial Frontier. I really wish they would have at least done something to try to fix it a little bit. So let's go ahead, and first thing I want to do here is this. So let's grab some skips. And I need to kind of see where we're at space-wise here. Could do this with the math, but we'll see. So let's see. So probably we want to go, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in. I can't go there because of that. So let's say I can move that forward. So that's 5 in. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's four spaces. Okay. Paste. I could put. I'm gonna probably do a gap just because the likelihood that I can get it that accurate with the crane and not pull my hair out as I'm banging them into each other is gonna be tenuous at best. So I'm thinking that. So there's 4 skips. All right, with a gap in each. And then so back here is where the crane is gonna go. So the crane will go here. So I need to go to this one here, mid wheel. 4 back mid wheel. So let's open up the template again. All right, let's save it as skip hauler. Okay, and so what we want to do here is that let's grab this, and I think we have one on the other side, just the model number here. All right, okay, this is the LC51. Where's the LC53? That's the shorter trailer. So this is the longer trailer. Now it's 3 extra feet. I doubt we're not going to be able to fit an extra skip on if I use the longer trailer. Let's just use the 51 footer. All right, so let's go ahead and grab these here. And I want to move this forward. This is just the model number, so that's just going there. And I'll grab this model number. It's nice having a template like this. I can just quickly get it up and running. All the TTIS is in there, all the lighting, brakes, and all that crap is in there. So we're good to go. All right, and next what we're going to do is I want to put on some tracks. So let's start cutting this out so I can put tracks in there. And we're going to mid-tire. And so we actually can go short of mid-tire. And then I want to take some of these tracks, connector tracks. This is how those skips are getting connected to the trailer. All right, bingo. So this will now allow us to lock the skips on. All right. Next thing we need to do is start working on the crane. So I'm going to probably use a velocity pivot with a PID so that I can make this rotate 360 degrees. Because I want to be able to spawn this in the train hangar, because that just gives me the opportunity to actually use this in every place. All right, so that is the velocity pivot there. And then we're going to have to start working on some sort of reasonable looking crane arm here. I'll put just a kind of a crap seat on it to start with. So we're going to build a real basic crane to start with. I'm going to load in a skip just to kind of see space-wise what we're looking at. All right, so we're working about, ooh, I don't know, there. Okay, that's going to be where we pivot. Nice. All right, so that's about as high as we need. So I don't want this overly tall. It's one of the reasons why the skips are nice and short to the ground is gives me the ability, I can have a crane on here and not have to worry about it, for example, being too tall of a trailer. So I can put that on and it can ride over the skips. And so that's going to be the start of that. And let's see. Pivots, power pivots we'll do. I think I want to go the other way. All right, and I don't, I'd like to not make this extendable, and the reason it's a pain in the butt to make things extendable because if they're extendable, I need to put a linear track, so that takes up 2 blocks. Then I need to put a gripper, that takes up 2 blocks. Then I need a track that takes up 3 blocks. So in order to fully encase it, I need it to be 4 tall, and so that's excessive. That's gonna look enormous. And so what I'm just gonna do is kind of like a frame type crane, and that way I can make it a little bit on the thinner side. So let's make it go up like that, and then we'll make the bottom flat. So we'll just make it kind of like a cantilever crane here. And then let's see. Yeah, so I'm thinking just like a cantilever crane for now. Okay. Should be measuring this, but I'm not, so it's going to be very much winged. Let's see. All right, so what are you doing? 3 gaps to 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. There we go. Yep, come on, man. So I've been thinking about the next challenge. Likely, so far, I'm thinking some sort of mobile crane as a, but I haven't completely decided yet. But that's kind of what I'm thinking so far. I think that has some interesting engineering challenges. I'm kind of interested how people would solve some of that problem. Bunch of different types of cranes, so keep it somewhat open. You can kind of make the crane how you want, but there's a lot of applications for it that are helpful in game. Loading up ships, it's nice to have a mobile crane. If you ever want to try to do gold, it's necessary to have a crane, so stuff like that I think would be kind of cool. All right, so cantilever crane there. I should have painted this before, but what never do. All right, let's grab a medium winch. A medium winch here. All right, so that is going to be the crane. It sits in the footprint. It has a nice long reach. It should reach well and above that friggin' thing at the gold. If it doesn't, I can make it somewhat extendable. But that's going to be pretty good. And then as you can see, if we put in skips, the skips sit underneath it, no problem. And so that will make it so that it's easy to kind of deal with. And so let's see what I want to do here. And do kind of block and tackle. We're going to test this out, so I need to put in some support legs. And it's probably be 4 total support legs. I think they're just going to be verticals. I think that's going to be the best. And so let's go block there. This is all where the tractor sits, so you can't put anything in there. So we'll go to there. And then, good here. Nice. Okay. And so let's go ahead and actually delete that out. Let's go track for linear tracks. Could do pistons, but then the problem with pistons are, as you can see, this one's already in the frame. I have to put a mag all on the bottom, so then I can't launch the trailer flat on the ground, which makes it a pain to hook up to stuff. So let me just check chat really quick. I've been out of chat. Yeah, the ducks are too fat. That's yes, the skips, the brick wagons used in the UK. Yeah, I've always liked the way that they lift those and how they tip them, so they're kind of neat. Oh, nice, nice gnome. Let's see. I'm just reading chat, guys. All right, so let's go ahead and so I'm going to do linear tracks. I can't see the black on black, it makes it hard for me to see what the hell I'm looking at. All right. And I'll make the stanchions the same. That way I can just, if I need to fix something, I can drag them. All right, so these are going to be the support arms. And they don't need to go down super duper far. They just need to get the magholes on the ground, essentially. So let's go try 2. So let's see if we can go down. Ooh, that's 3 blocks. Come on there, guy. Count. Okay. Okay, so that should be 2. That should be more than enough. And then what we'll do is, I like rockets just because they look better. All right, so then what we want to do is go... trying to think how to do this to make this work. All right. Trying to do gripper tracks. Ugh, like so many of these blocks are just enormous. Like I was gonna put hard points. It looks so fat if I do hard points, but I'm gonna probably end up doing hard points here. Hard points are nice. They're my new favorite. I used to do grippers all the time, but hard points are nice because they just affirmatively lock. You don't have to worry about them sliding at all. So putting hard points in like this, as ugly as they are, and I can also start them in the lock position, so that's kind of nice. All right, and then we would want to put on hard points like that. All right, so those are going to go down and hook into these hard points. I can't do this one. Okay, I can't do the back. There's no point in putting stability in the front, and that's because it can be hooked to the tractor. So unless I detach from the tractor, that's silly. So let's just do rear. We should be able to just do rear fine. All right, and that's going to lower down too, and then I need a hard point here now. Okay, there. And then we want a hard point connector here. All right, and that's going to slide down and miss. Okay, this needs to come up 1. So we'll go to there. That will now slot in and lock. And this will allow the back of the trailer to lift up. I don't want to lift up the tractor, so that's why I'm doing it like this. And that should lock us in place so that this doesn't go all over the shop. So now let's do rockets. Now I'll paint all this up later. I'm just trying to, and then do magholes. All right, so those should go down, and that should attach to the ground, lift this up. That way we can secure ourselves and run the crane without fear of destroying everything. All right, I need to come up with a PID for this. Need to work on that. Let's grab just quickly a seat. You know, I can fancify this later, but at the moment I just want to make sure it's going to work before I build too much. So let's do a seat. All right. 80 is going to have to go into the box. WS can go direct fire in there with a sticky, probably like a 5% Should hopefully be fine and not cause me massive amounts of grief. We'll put a block and tackle on here to actually haul the sucker. I think what I'm going to add is a center grabber for this. I think I'll do that too. Yeah. I'm going to have to block and tackle. I'm just trying to think of the best way to load these skips in here. All right, so I'm going to need to, let's save this. So skip hauler. And then let me just refresh my memory with the Mako. Mako has, okay. Why is the Mako not coming up here? Because it has a K in it instead of a C. That would be why. My spelling is terrible at the moment, apparently. So what is this? This is the turret control. Let's just grab this for refresher. Oh, don't load content. Get out of there. Copy. All right, now let's grab the skip trailer. All right, and this should be the PID stuff for using a velocity pivot to turn 360 degrees. I actually think I have a better one than this. Let's, oof, it's gonna be a pain to load in here. Let's try this one and see this works for me. All right, so I have to refresh my memory on this. I haven't done this in a while. So you need from the turret, and you need a numerical switch box. That is junk right there. So seat, 9, expression, negative x times 1. Why is it times 1? Ugh. This is, looking at some of my old stuff, it's like, why would I do it that way? Okay, so it's going to be negative x. Oh, that's a multiplier. That's just so I can use it as a multiplier. So from the turret, so it feeds back. Okay, so it's just a feedback loop. All right, that's fine. All right, so what we're going to do here is, I'm going to delete that. I thought it was just a feedback loop, so we're good. All right, so let's try this. So let's build this quick microcontroller to control the velocity pivot. Okay, logic. So I need one more. I'm going to do a p-value on there. All right, so the composite input seat. That is going to be, I'm going to need one more. Composite input, that's from vel pivot. Right, this is going to be a number output. Vel pivot. Oh my God, if I could spell. Vel pivot. And this is going to be p-value, so I can tune the PID, number input, p-value. Okay, let's get in there. All right, so I want AD as my control. So AD is going to be 1. Okay. And I don't want it to go an insane amount of speed. So let's go ahead and do function block. And we'll do clamp x. Let's try 0.2, negative 0.2, 0.2. Okay, that's clamped now, and that also allows me to invert the x if I need to. PID, sorry, I'm out of chat for a little bit. Come on. Click, 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 click. There we go. All right, so we want it as seat goes to there. Process variable is going to be the current velocity of the pivot. That goes out to velocity pivot. Do a constant on for now. And then p-value, I'll key in for now. All right, so let's try to hook this up here. So that is p-value. I need keypad. Let's just put it right there on the floor is fine. All right, keypad's going to go right into the p-value. Velocity pivot is going to read into velocity pivot. Current rotation reads out, and then we need the seat to come in. I need AD to be sticky, and let's go down to like 5%. Actually, no, I want this to be, AD should be, let's go reset 100% because it has a clamp in there already, so that'll be fine. And let's go in here and test out the crane. Let's put a 1 in here to... Ooh, what did you dancing forward, guy? Oh, it's because the velocity pivot. And it's backwards, as I could have imagined. Oh, these aren't attached. That'd be why. So this is a velocity pivot, and with using a PID, you can rotate it 360 degrees, theoretically. What am I doing? What am I doing wrong here? Let's see. I need to fix a couple things here, and then I have to fix that. You go like that. That will stiffen that up a little bit. Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. It shouldn't be on reset. Definitely not. Okay. Definitely not on reset. I don't know why I was thinking it needed to be reset. Sticky. Let's do a 5% on that. Let's run it now. So on the front of this as well, I'll put a securing arm so it will snap into place for travel so it's not banging all over town. Quickly test this and I'll check back with chat. So it's backwards, which is fine. So when I stop it, it should stop it. That's fine. It doesn't have any of the stability down, but you see how the PID is trying to keep it where I left it? And it doesn't want me to go any further. I have something that works well with this already. I'll have to check the settings on that. Let me check chat. Yep. Okay, so now it's not working. All right, so I'll fix this in a second, why the velocity pivot is now doing nada. All right, so let's go ahead and save this up, and I'm going to check one of my other builds that already had some numbers in. So I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Let's do skip hauler backup. Unfortunately, I have to go to a bigger bench to check the thing I need to check. Okay. Because I want to be able to go 360 with this crane. So let's go ahead and Damon 2111. The seat on this rotates 360. So it's not worth me. I have to go actually start this up, so it's not worth me showing you guys because it will take a while to get it started up. So what I want to do is find the seat rotation, which is here. Velocity pivot, where you going to, guy? You're going down here to REAT rotation, huh? That should be seat rotation. Spelling. English. Okay, that's it. Seat rotation, REAT rotation. We'll take the REAT rotation. All right. And I know this one works, so I'll grab that. And if it works, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I can just take something I have that works and use it. So let's grab the skip hauler, grab the REAT rotation here. All right, and let's see. Start hooking this up. That is to pivot, from pivot, kingpin. Okay, that's the wrong one. Where are we at here? That's only 2 on there, and then probably a seat. Okay, and then I need to see how I'm controlling this. All right, so it's an up-down counter, 1, -1. That's fine. I don't need that anymore. I can use the seat. All right, let's try something here. So let's go. Nope. Grab this instead. All right, and let's give this a run. See what we can do here. That's like the same thing. I don't know what the deal is here, but check the seat again. Configure it correctly. Try reset. It's gonna be backwards until I fix it. But it stops. Does it stop? Okay, it's... Let's see if I can go 360 on it. Yep, so there it goes 360. So the crane will go 360. It's just trying to reset it, so it needs to be sticky, I think. Let's see. Reset. Let's try sticky for now. Oh, come on, get in the seat. Jumping 8 times is annoying. There we go. Yeah, I keep forgetting I have the pivot backwards. I have a GIF putting all the pivots backwards. All right, so now the crane goes behind me. Beautiful, beautiful. I can set this so that, for example, let's say that gold washer is behind me. I can load the skip up there. I can reach 360, and you see how it's picking it up, but it will have those 2 stabilizer legs down, and it will have a tractor hanging off of that kingpin. So you'll have the length of this trailer is 50 feet with a big heavy tractor sticking off the front, plus all the skips sitting on the trailer. So that should be more than stable enough to pick up one at a time. And then we'll go and this will go, and for example, you raise it up tall, you can bring it to the closer ones and load them on the back of the trailer, and then bring it down to load it on the front of the trailer, and this is more than tall enough to load it. And so this, we don't need to bring 28 vehicles with us to the gold washer. We can bring this, we can pull up to the funnel where it dumps off. We can drop an empty skip, which will bring one with us. Then we can go up against the washer, and then one at a time we'll unload the, it is really screwing me up that this is backwards, and we can load it up and then put it back in. Good. So this, it seems like every time I hook these up, they're backwards. All right. All right, good. So proof of concept on that. Let's work on the stability system here, on the stabilizers. Let's put it that way. All right, let's go. Just bang it into this panel. Let's actually, we'll use, yeah, I'll bang it in this panel here. What am I doing here? Cut you, get out of there. All right, this here, let's go in here. And let's make this wider by a couple because I expect it to be. All right, so that is going to be number output. Let's see. Linear tracks. Okay, linear tracks. This is going to be on-off output. Hard point. And we need another on-off output. What happened here? Hard point. Where did linear track go? Oh, linear tracks. Okay. Did I screw something up? From pivot to pivot. Linear track. No. Okay. It's fine, I guess. Here, I'm just going to close it and redo it because I don't know if I deleted something. Camera spot. What the hell is that all about? I don't need that. Now, camera spot can go away. That can go away. Okay, so I can use that one. So let's go one wider. All right. So camera spot, let's just go number output, linear track. Linear track, I'll check out chat in a second here. Output to hardpoint. Hardpoint release. And then that's output magalls. All right, magalls. Let's just check the chat. What sound? Is the sound good for everybody else? I'm just checking the chat, guys. All right, so let's go. We have magalls, hardpoint, linear track. Let's build this part of it up. Linear tracks, that's fine. Where are the other ones? Where the hell is the other parts? Oh, right here. Okay. There we go. Let's see. Magalls. Nice. All right, so let's go, and you can go bye-bye. You all can go bye-bye. And then we'll take up, down. Up, down is 4. So we want 4. All right, and what we'll do here is we'll do a function, clamp, x, point, -0.2. We have the same clamp up top. I could have copied it, but I didn't. All right, and that's good. That will go to linear track. All right. This will go to threshold. This will be 0. And we need a knot. So if this is not 0, as though I want the supports to move, I want to release the hard points. And then I will do, this is 0, I want the magalls on. That just simplifies that a little bit. Let's configure the seat first before I forget. Up, down is going to be reset 100%. Then we want hardpoint release and magalls. All right. So let's run that really quick here. I need linear track to be hooked up as well. All right, let's stabilize it. Oh yeah, you don't want to work at all now? It's backwards, of course. All right, let's make sure the hard points are connected here. Release false, launch false. Okay, so that's attached. That's attached to the ground. It's actually turning the correct direction now. Yay. I'm shaking all over town, and it is stable. And you see it will rock forward and back, but again, there'll be a heavy tractor attached to that. So that works now. So let's do a test. So I'll save this up. All right, I want to load in a skip. And we'll fill it with a bunch of stuff. So, and we'll make sure it's full of coal in this case. All right, and then I want to grab let's see, we want to go try to think if I want to make this more complicated than it already is. I'll do that later if I'm going to do it. All right, that's set up. Let's go. 1 is now push up. 2 is push down. 1 is up. And 2 is down. All right, let's do a lift test here. All right, and we'll go up. And those are not far. I didn't put the supports down. Shocker. That doesn't surprise me. I forgot to do that. Okay. I have to press up to go down because, of course, everything's always backwards. All right, that's all locked up. Let's try it now. All right. Now I'll bring it in to the body here. And then I want to press on something. Of course, I'm going to fall through my no-frame trailer. This is going to be a nightmare to grab this while it's moving. So I need this right one attached. So that now primes those grippers so they'll attach. All right. And the magalls decided to piss off. All right. Do this for now. I'll come up with a better system later, but for now, this is what this is getting. Once proof of concept's done, we're good. Could do another side loader, but I'm trying to do it so that I can put it on the, actually load it up. Okay. Be less likely to turn over as well when the tractor is set. So let's go do this really quick. Let's click on attach. What are you doing to me there, guy? What is it doing now? Why are the maggalls going nuts? Maggalls are going nuts for some reason. They don't like being like underground. It's like underground, so it's, I think it like broke something. Let's spawn it. Again, I can make improvements to this, but let's go vehicle damage off for now. I just want to test it. Movement's not bad. It's that it's heavy. The p-value is too high on this, and I need to change it. So change the p-value. It'll be a little bit better here. I didn't put my supports down. Okay, supports down. You know, the legs should be spread out more, but I'm just trying to get it proof of concept. This isn't going to be it done. So. It says the maggalls detach, it shakes everything. So that's the problem, is it's shaking when the maggalls detach, and it's hard to be slow when the maggalls detach and jerk the crane around. See, like that's not me doing that. That's the maggalls detaching that's causing this to shake. And now the crane doesn't want to work anymore. The crane stops working once those maggalls. See, that's a maggall problem. That's a maggall problem. All right. I think if we go side load on this, this is gonna be a pain in the ass. Let's try something. Do this for now. Counterweight this out. I'm just trying to test the proof of concept of this. So. Sometimes they don't like it if they're not counterweighted. I don't think it likes hooking underground like this, but you know the hanger has some weird peculiarities where you like slide around. It doesn't like being in the hanger. See, they're going nuts. The crane dies every time those maggalls go nuts. Crane won't lift now the maggalls have gone nuts, so I need to screw with this some more. Yeah, so it doesn't like it when the maggalls go nuts. Let's go to the side loader here. All right, so that needs work. So again, the only thing this is really necessary for is gold, that I need it to have a big crane. We can go back to side loader. I know the side loader works. So let's see. Let's try to play with the side loader a little bit here. And we'll load you. Because you know, one reason I'm not playing too much gold anyway is gold is less profitable than aluminum. So it is cheaper. You make more money doing aluminum, and you takes a hell of a lot less time to do aluminum than gold. So I've yet to do any gold because it just seems completely unreasonable to do gold. So the only reason I was building that crane trailer was for gold. So let's see. Take a break from that, and I'll come back to it another time. All right, let's load a couple on here. Yeah, yeah. Like I was saying, the presently gold is worthless. It's gold is less money than aluminum. You know, so you might as well go mine aluminum. And so I'd like to gold for it has some interesting stuff, but because of like how many things they've screwed up, it's just like I have no desire to really do it. So, okay, let's put 1, 2. So this can do everything except gold because we'd need a crane for gold. All right, let's run this. Hopefully I didn't block the stabilizers. Nope, stabilizer in the clear. Nice. Let's go out in the stabilizers. Yeah, somebody said sound. Usually on their end, but nobody else has complained. So, all right, good. Let's go checking chat as this is going. Yeah, the rope update is awesome. Like we'll see with the rope update now. This is my new favorite way to do these things. Is instead of having winches, which I started this trailer with winches, I needed like this was all panels in here to get this to run properly and to be able to have me articulate these in the way that I wanted. Without the with just using the rope update, I don't need to use all the whatever you want to call them. the I don't have to use all these winches, and so I don't have to plumb them up with electricity, and I don't have to like do them. That's 4 meters of rope. That's always going to stay 4 meters of rope. I don't have to touch it, so that's good, you know. And then this one is going to be 4 meters of rope, and they're going to the same buckle, so they're going to work fine. And then this will be 8 meters of rope here. And so we'll hook 8 meters of rope. And this one will be 8 meters of rope. And so I don't have to worry about these anymore. That was like a really excellent update that I think, you know, some people don't really realize how great that was. And as they start building some stuff, they'll start to see, I can do a bunch of things I never thought. Because a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, I can just tie my vehicle off now. I could do that with winches before. And it's like, yeah, dude, but you can do stuff like this. You can sling things properly. You don't have to have a bunch of winches. It is cool. So I think 8's a little bit on the long side there. Where is this one attached to? What happened to this side? What? I have to reattach it. Ugh, I hooked it to the wrong one. Down. Should probably done, I don't know if 4 would have reached. Let's try 4 from that close one. So one of the thoughts I have too is, so to do everything but gold, and again, gold is not profitable, but you know, I would do it for fun, but if it's going to be an aggravation, it's not fun. And so one thing I can do is I can do this type of trailer where it unloads it via crane. And I didn't set this one up here. Let me set it up. Try 4 meters, see if it will attach. If it will attach with 4 meters, I'll hook the other one at 2s. Nope, it's going to have to be 8s. But I can hook this up to this trailer. I can yank 4 of these down. I can offload them at the metal facility. I can also put the same type of crane. I can use the exact same ones and put them on train cars and then load these on and unload the train properly. So that's a big thing is I can use this. I did this before, but I'm trying to load 4 at once. So this takes a little bit more I think the 8's going to be too long. I think I did 4s and 2s last time. Yeah, I need 4s and 2s. So let's go down with this. You know, you wouldn't have 4 of these lined up at once. You'd have 1 lined up. So just quickly do this here. I've done this before. We can load some skips on here. Oh, come on. Skip. So if I put them in the center position, they can sling evenly. Let me just do a quick test measure. So 8 would be 2 meters. So that's 4 meters there, and then 8 meters is just ridiculous. So yeah, it's no wonder it wasn't going to work. So like I can load a skip on each, and then, as long as I don't have these, so I can still use the same trail. I'm trying not to put more crane arms on this, but I can still load 4 of these. I just have to do them unit by unit. No, we're going to quickly test that. So let's go and grab these ropes here. Okay. Yeah, I agree. More updates like that would be very helpful. I was definitely disappointed when they were like, "Yay, we added some sheeps and some buffaloes," and I get it, man. It's still an update, whatever. But they really could have made Industrial Frontier, which was a DLC after all, much more viable for gameplay, and that would have been what I like to see. If they just changed one thing, they didn't have to change it all. Like if they just made that gold washer closer to the ground, that would have been a solid update that now makes gold still not profitable, or as profitable, but it would make it so you could do it and not have it be a hassle. And something like that would have been nice to see, I would have liked that. So I got all excited. I certainly hyped myself up a little bit for it, but that was what I was hoping to see, was some actual improvements on the gameplay. But whatever. I didn't. I'll confess, I didn't put in a feature request. I did put in a feature request, but I didn't put in a detailed feature request with like a video that said exactly how they should fix it. So I tend to kind of be in the camp of I'm not going to complain about it if I didn't do anything to try to help solve it. So but you can tell they're software developers. Their job is not logistics. They've likely never had a logistics job. So this is how these slings will work. And because it's on a track, I can slide these. So let's go in. All right, that's good enough for now. And then I'm going to go and hook attach. And that is a funnel in the bottom, so these can dump. So this is close to being attached here. Get it attached. I tested this before and got it attached, so we just need to get it on there. It's almost there. You can tell by the edge of it. You can see the edge is almost aligned, so that's... Let's see where we're at. We're going to be close here. Probably needs to go up just a hair. So I actually need to go up and in at the same time, so to get it to come up. Did I not? I didn't load in the tracks on this one. All right, so that's this one. I've loaded this before, so what you would do is you would load this on. I didn't put the tracks in. So you'd load this one on, and then you would push it all the way to the front and lock it. Then you would sling the next one, and you'd push that one back and lock it. I might need some winches, because what you could do is if you draw this set of winches in, and you let this one hang, it will actually pull it this way and drop it. But, I can load 4 of these on here, and that will be good. I can also probably do a low flatbed too. So I have a bunch of ways to do this, and then do the train. And so what we could do is have these and have these same type of cranes on a train, and you could then train it out. But you know, with the way they did Industrial Frontier, it just makes why use a train when a truck is just so much better. And I think that was the big issue, was this was a huge train update. There's so much train stuff on here, and they made trains so incredibly useless. And it just makes it's frustrating. It's a huge missed opportunity because it's like I'd rather take a truck down here, and a train is easier because I don't have to pay attention. I can sit there, it's going to stay on the tracks. Oh, need to press a button to switch tracks. Okay, press a button, switch tracks, easy. You know, with the truck, I have to pay attention the entire way down. So a train is nice and relaxing, but they made trains useless, so that would make it a little bit more useful. It still have this problem, is even though I've solved this issue right here where I can crane those over the side to dump in here, so the train car would have those same arms like my trailer there. And then what I would do is I would pull the train car up here and crane over and dump it, and then crane it back on and move forward, you know. So that would be what I would do. But yeah, I think it's just a missed opportunity by the devs. Let me see. I'll just check up on chat really quick. Yeah, it's silly. They put so much good train stuff in here. This building looks good. Good detailing in here. I like it. It makes sense. Some of the logistics make sense. You have iron up here. You have aluminum down here. You have some gold here and here. And it's nice and spread out. You have uranium over here. You have some uranium up here. And so it gives you, you know, a reason to traverse the map. That's good. But then you get down here and it all falls apart. And it's like, they just didn't test it out, which is a kind of a common refrain. But it's like, man, it's like, you know, and you know what would be fine? The other option I said that they could do that would make perfect sense, right? Let us buy this sucker. Make this a buy. Make this 250K. I don't care. That you buy this foundry. And then guess what? Have a spawn point for a train and have a spawn point for a truck. That's all you have to do. And then, so guess what? When I bring the metal down and I bring it here, I then can switch to a truck, you know, so I can put it in here and then truck it off, you know. But it's just, you know, there's no truck dump. So it's like they're saying, hey, use a train. And you say, okay, I'll use a train. Then you get up here and you're like, well, now what the hell am I supposed to do with a train? You know, so it doesn't make any sense. So I don't know, you know, it just doesn't make any sense to me why they did things the way they did them, but they did them that way. Let's see. Let us see what I want to do next. So just mostly playing with some ideas in my head, trying to get this figured out, what I want to do. See if there's any other projects. I might take a break here. We'll see. Let's teleport over here. So I'll show off my new high-speed container boat. Put on a couple little videos of that on Discord. And so this is pretty cool. This has a lot of applications here. Let's see if I find it. So this is my new ship, and I slapped this together pretty quick. And so it has a couple ugly cranes for now, but the benefit of these is I can actually load up on these incredibly super tall, too tall docks. These docks are insane. Again, they should have half docks that are about half this height, and you can actually drive a truck down there and load right on. But again, they built everything for like enormous steamships that we can't put in game, which doesn't make any sense. So this ship's kind of cool. This can also, like, we could load up vehicles from the land and put them on here. Got a ferry style. And the main cool thing about this is it's just pretty fast. So tomorrow's career build series has me going up to the military base, and I think it took me like 20 minutes to get there. And I brought up some jet fuel. And so this is nice and fast. And it can carry 3 regular containers up. My P value is a little high, so it's going to misbehave for a second there until I get it straightened out here. There we go. I have to lower the P value a little bit. It's too high. See, it's going to dive, and then it will recover here in a second. So P value is too high. But as you can see, it does 45 knots. So 45 knots is pretty good for hauling 3 containers. And so it only takes like, you know, 20 minutes to get most places. So like FJ to here is going to be less than 20. This took me 20 to get from here up to here going around, so that only took me 20 minutes. This is probably, I'd say, sub 20. This is sub 20. So again, logistics-wise, where I have some issues with some of the things they did is one thing they did that a lot of people don't realize on Industrial Frontier here is kind of cool. So at Zizzo's, at Liam's, these are free. They have workbenches there. They're free. So if you were, say, to buy a beginner base, you can also use these. One of the issues I have is, like, if you wanted to go down a JSI dock, right, and not have to self-load your ship, so you have, like, that's why I built this as a self-loader, is I have to buy, even if I bought JSI, let's say I buy JSI, it only has a water spawner. It has no land spawner. And so because it only has a water spawner, I still have no way to unload the ship. I would have to drive or trailer a unloader all the way over here and leave it there out in the world causing lag and money loss to then bring a ship around and then unload it and load it and then bring the ship back, leaving that sucker there for an extended period of time or forever. Up here, you have 3 water spawns. So you can spawn 3 ships in here, but no place to spawn a land vehicle. So I can't spawn a vehicle to unload my ship. So again, I need a self-loading ship, which is fine, but it makes things a little less accessible, I find. Like over here, same deal. Self-loader, I need a self-loader. Here is all right. This one, I can spawn a loader out of the train hangar and then load and unload ships. I can do that at FJ. I can do that at Spy Cakes and Komodo. So, that's another one that's a little bit funky for me. One thing I'd also like to see the devs do that I think would be kind of cool is if they added, so like if you see my pallets, let's bring this back. So I've been using my pallets for some of my airplanes. And so, for example, so these are like the pallets, and so they're small. It'd be very cool if they came up with a standardized size pallet like this that again has some sort of adherence on the bottom, and you could load these into planes. And the devs did a great job with making airplane logistic useless as well. Is every once in a while I get a mission to transport people, but usually it always devolves down to a helicopter. And the reason is, like, I've gotten this one before. You get transport people from I think this is Clark. Oh no, Harrison. I think it's Harrison. Transport people from Harrison to this little rinky-dink island here. And so, of course, you have to use a helicopter. And so what would have been nice is if they had something like a pallet, right? A standardized pallet. That one I think is 5 wide. So that's a standardized pallet. That's not bad. You said, hey, a mission pops says, hey, transport people and a pallet from Harrison to Tajin. Well, you're not going to use a helicopter. Well, you could. But why would you? You could use an airplane. So you would load up an airplane with a pallet and some passengers, and you'd leave at like 200 knots and head up here and land, and you could dump the pallet off on the people. That would be a fun way to make airplanes usable. They made it so that the meta, and I hate metas just because, I'm a contrarian, but I don't like metas anyways. It's like, why do the same thing over and over and over and over again? And that's why people get stuck in this rut of always using a helicopter, because there's so many applications in the game where the helicopter just works best, and I tend not to like that. But it would be better if they changed the game mechanics a little so that helicopter wasn't always best. Like, my new helicopter is insanely fast. It goes 263 knots. I didn't even work on it that long, and it's just as fast as hell. But it probably can't hold any load. And so you could take my new stall airplane up to the Arctic in 15 minutes. I can taxi real close. So FJ is beautiful, okay? For 80 grand, I can launch a land vehicle here and here and 2 sea vehicles, okay? So I launch my airplane, I bring it over here, I launch a loader, forklift, I bring it over here, I put the pallet in the back. I then take off, put the people in there, go up to Tajin, land, and I offload that. That's something that devs could easily do at a mission. It would probably take them a day to do it at most. And it would now make airplanes usable and viable. The Arctic is screwy as well here. The only way to get to BVG is by boat or by train. So theoretically what I could do is I could bring in a pallet, or I could bring in a container, and then I have to drive down this rickety, terrible drive to get down here to then load it onto a ship to then bring it this distance, but why bother? Or I could drive, take the container off of a plane, load it onto a truck, drive it over here, put it on a train, and then go here. So that just completely makes that useless as well. It's like, especially, I understand why they did this, but it didn't seem like they thought of the logistics. It's like, dude, if anywhere should be like FJ, where you have a container port, a seaport, an airport, and a rail port, is the Arctic. The Arctic is all up here by itself. And all they have to really do is you have a seaport, you have an airport. All they need to do is put in a train line and a container area, and now you have a usable Arctic. And I think you'd see more people play in the Arctic. I'm just checking some more stuff here. Yeah, there are a bunch of add-ons. Like I use the Stormlink add-on. And the add-ons are great, but I think adding some of the stuff to the innate part of the game is nice as well. Like Stormlink's great that's how I did Cap Air, was all Stormlink. And they have those people missions where you transport people. All they have to do is, like, I'm not saying take away those, just add them. Make airport to airport transport. So it says, hey, there are 3 people who need transport from FJ to Endair. They need transport from Endair to Harrison. They need transport from Harrison to the Arctic. And so you can, mission pops up and you say, ooh, yay, I finally get to use my airplane. And you take your airplane up there and do it, And so I think that would actually add some usability to airplanes. Yeah, so much of the stuff is just like, you can tell they have very limited experience with logistics. There's a big reason why pretty much every airline, most transportation companies use the hub and spoke system. For example, let me tell you how a company like, a large logistics company operates. Okay, so let's go in here. So we'll use the bases in here. All right, so say this is the hub for the logistics company. All right, they deliver your packages every day, right? This is how they would do it. So this is your hub. All the cars go out, and they go out full with packages to be delivered. They go along the road, they stop here, they stop at Zizos. When they go to Zizos, they drop off 5 packages, they pick up 1 that they're trying to get rid of. They would go down the street, they drop off 4, they pick up 2, they come over here, they drop off 3, they pick up 2, they grab 4, they pick up 2, and let's say all those packages they're picking up are not local. Some of them are local, some of them are going, thousands of miles away. And so all the packages they're dropping off are local, but the packages, like say, for example, say they pick one up from Zizos, and this one is going here. So when they drive by here, do you think they drop it off here? No, they don't. They don't drop it off here. They just pick up. And then what they do is they drive back to the hub at the end of the day, and they put it in the hub. Now all the packages will go on conveyor belts, and they'll get sorted. And you might have a package, so all the packages for the Arctic that went into the hub, they all go on one vehicle that's going to go up to the Arctic. All the ones that are going to Harrison are going to go to Harrison. All the ones that are going to Dremore are going to go to Dremore. The package we picked up from Zizos that's supposed to be going here, the reason we didn't dump it off there is it has to be processed in the hub. So now, the next day, all those packages are compiled that are going to go in that same route that we followed, and now they're loaded on the car, and that goes out the next day. All right, and then that big, say truck went up to, or boat went up to the Arctic, and now when you get to the Arctic, again, the hub is Tajin, the ship comes into Tajin, the planes come into Tajin, all of it is sorted in the hub, and now it goes out on its route. So that's how a real logistics systems work, and they just, between, you really want to hear me rant, it'll be Star Citizen. Star Citizen, the logistics is insanity. It doesn't make any sense. And they couldn't, and I've written up a bunch of, I wrote up like a 4-page thing that was had examples and how to do it correctly. And I think one of them reached out to me, but I was like, by that point, I'm like, they're never going to listen anyways. But, it's just like little logistic stuff like that. I think they can make it, there's a reason why it works the way it works, and it would be a lot better. It'd be cool if they had some small package deliveries where, for example, you get a mission down here, you say, okay, say we're sitting at FJ and we get a mission. Okay, Zizo has a package that needs to go to Tajin, or it needs to go to Endo at the Arctic. So you would spawn one of your trucks, you'd go out here, you'd pick up a small package, you'd go back, you'd put it on your airplane, you'd fly it up. So a multi-stage one. Some people would take a helicopter, but and if they want to do that, great. And then the airplane would come in and land. You'd offload the package. You'd despawn the plane. You'd spawn your truck, load the package on the truck, and then you'd drive over to Endo and you drop the package off. So that would be kind of fun because now it's like, okay, you plan your route. You plan, oh, I can put this on a plane at one point. Maybe you say, you know what I want to do? I want to build a plane that will fit my truck. Go out, pick up the package in the truck, and then you just drive your truck on the back of the plane and fly it up and then drive it off. So I think that's something they could do. They're not going to do it in this game. What I'll do eventually is I'm going to do a video that for them to ignore that will be about, be kind of about the next game. Like I saw a bunch of people do that a little bit premature. And so it'd be kind of like, there's a bunch of things I think they should do in the next game. Again, they said it's not going to be Stormworks 2. I think it's going to be very similar to Stormworks. It's going to be a vehicle building game. I think it's going to be land, sea, air. I don't think it's going to be space. I understand the desire for space, but there's too much competition, and I think they narrow the field too much. You think about the strengths of Stormworks, and most of the people who would buy LogiWorks, if they call me and actually get some logistics information, I tell them how to do it properly. That'd be great. I actually like that. LogiWorks would be good. And so, one of the things that I think would be good for them to do is the reason I doubt they're going to do space is this. You think about what's in Stormworks. They already have an audience. They already have us who've bought the game, who've bought DLCs, who are used to the way it works. And so it would make sense if they kept it somewhat similar, at least, pretty close similar, so that they don't lose all of us. Because the worst thing they could do is do something that's way off, and they're already consumer based. They already know they have says bye-bye. And so what they could do is, I doubt they're going to go to space, and the reason is this, or just space. Let's put it that way, just space. I wouldn't mind if they made it so you can leave the planet and go to space. That's fine. But if they did just space, the issue with that is you lose everybody who wants to make World War II war stuff. And that's a huge part of the community. You look on the workshop, you see how many people building like World War II stuff. Every other sort of weaponry, like, every modern type of airplane, warship, all that. All the people like JSI who like to make ships, they're gone with a space update. People have been asking for fishing for a while, which I think is going to be the DLC. That would be my guess. You lose all those people because now we're in space. And as much as I like space, do I think they're going to make space as... They're not going to... I doubt they're going to do Newtonian physics, so you're not going to be doing, gravity turns and all that stuff. So it's going to be pretty simplified. The building system, even if the building system is identical, that's cool. But, you get a lot of people who are in the I'm bored category where you have no perception of speed in space. So if you want to go from space station to space station, you're going at, like 5,000 knots and you feel like you're not moving at all. That's going to bore the people to tears who are already bored to tears. So you're losing them. And it's like, oh, well, what am I going to build? Oh, I could build a train, I could build a boat, I could build a truck, or, oh, I could build a spaceship, I could build a spaceship, I could build a spaceship, I could build a spaceship. You're going to get bored. I get bored with building a sea vehicle. I'm like, okay, I want to get back on land and build some land stuff. Or, oh, I want to build a train. So it's like you start getting bored, you can build something new or different. And so I seriously doubt they're going to do a just space. If they did it where you could have like a really thin space thing where you say, okay, you could build a rocket and you can go up into space and it does a loading screen even. Empyrean Galactic Survival did a loading screen and there's no problem with that. You leave the planet is actually a flat plane, and so at some point in the atmosphere it does, there's like some effects as you're leaving the atmosphere, and it's actually a loading screen and now you're in space and it acts like space. But how the hell are they doing multiplayer with that? I think one of the big reasons they're building a new game is multiplayer is never going to be quote-unquote fixed in this game because it was never designed at its core to be multiplayer. Now, a lot of people who complain about multiplayer have legitimate concerns. A lot of people, they don't have the internet, they don't have the processing power with the computer to load up a computer, have it run on their PC with 5 friends, and have 6 Titanics. They can run some small vehicles that don't have a lot of logic, but they can't run everything. And so I think a lot of people will overdo it and then have lag. Like we used to do the Workbench podcast, and there would be 6 of us with 5 or 6 vehicles, and we get a little lag here and there, but we had no problems, you know, and we'd usually do pretty well. So I think sometimes people are just lagging the hell out of it. And then if you go on a public server, well, you're going to get people who want to grief, and they put in 90 ships and they smash them all together, and now you have 2 blocks stuck in between each other, and that tanks the performance, and the multiplayer session's over. So I think, the new game, they're probably going to build multiplayer in it from the ground up, and I think that will be better. But again, you're still not going to be able to load 28 Titanics because they're all based on how we build them, and we don't build a lot of optimized stuff because, I build all my stuff for single player. If people took my stuff into a multiplayer and put 5 of them in the world, it's going to probably drag it down to its knees. So they need to build it from scratch. There's just a bunch of things that people say, oh, change tire grip. I think that's an easy fix, actually. I think if they made the slider go up to 5, that would fix the tire grip problems. The roads aren't a separate entity from the actual terrain. So, for example, if we look at a road, the road is just painted on there. And so because the road's just painted on there, like this is a solid surface, but the road is just painted on. So it wouldn't surprise me if in the future they put a actual physicalized road on there that has a different friction value on it. And so, yeah, if you go on road, you get a little more friction. If you go on the sand, you get less friction. I would say if they're going to do another thing with trains, they'd probably put better tracks in, stuff like that. So I think it's good to have a new game in the future. I think a lot of people freaked out, and then they finally came out with a roadmap. People were like, oh, I thought they were done with the game. No, you had a couple people who went on YouTube and said that they were done with the game. And I even corrected those people at the time, was saying, like, no, that's not what they said, man. So I think a new game is going to be good. One thing I would love to see with a new game is there's a bunch of games where they have stickers. And I think Crossout had stickers. I don't know if War Thunder has it, but essentially what you do is they're like decals. And so instead of doing a paint block, what you would do is you'd paint what you want to have on there, and then you slide the decal on, and just like a decal, it form fits to the surface. So instead of me having to put paint blocks and paint what I want, and then I can't paint on these corner pieces, a decal would slide on there, and where the block bends, the decal bends over it. And they have games like this where they have tons of different polys and shapes, and when you put your decal on, it automatically folds and contours to it, and you can move that. You just drag the decal, and you go into decal mode, you would paint the decal, and then you would drag it exactly where you want. And that would allow us to do double-sided, say, tail numbers or graphics. That would allow us to paint inside and outside in the same area, not have to worry about the block. So I think that would be something. And again, I think that's something they have to do a new game. There's no point in them retooling this game. And again, I think one area a lot of people are missing is this game is still uber duper cheap. Like, I think I paid maybe 40, 50 bucks total for this. The game and all the DLCs, they were on sale the day they came out, the DLCs. So they were like $7 a piece plus 24 bucks for the game. It's very often on sale. And so there's, they can't put 5 more years into this game with no excess revenue. They can't do it. They have to pay their salaries. They have to pay for rent of a facility. They have to pay for insurance for the business. They have to pay taxes. So they need another game. And it's this game, they're still talking about, they're going to have a major update in 2024. They've already committed to that. And so we need to expect that the major update usually it could drop, say, 1st of January, and that would be 2024. But likely it's going to be a few months into January or a few months into the year. And, and they'll probably still drop some minors. It will depend on if people keep playing. They're going to put out a DLC in October, most likely. And so you have October. Let's say they go to, I don't know, March. So, there you have 5 months, from the DLC. Well, likelihood is they're still going to be supporting that stuff while building this in the background. Because one thing they don't want to do is they can't abandon this game and then say, okay, bye guys, we'll see you in a couple years with the new game. They can't do that. What they have to do is they have to kind of, maybe they'll slow down to once a month, once every couple months they'll do a a minor update, and then maybe every 6 months they'll do a major update, no more DLCs, or maybe they'll do a DLC, and then once a year still, and then they'll say, hey, here's a sneak peek from the new game, and wow, look at these new features. This fixes this problem everybody's been worried about. That's how I think they probably do it, and I think it's great. If we come out with Stormworks 2.0, which is better in every way, am I willing to spend an hour's worth of pay for that? Absolutely. So got a little ranty at the end there, but I think Industrial Frontier is a mess right now, and so I kind of wanted to get into this and hopefully try to come up with some solutions. I think the skips are going to work, but it's going to take some more work. I have to kind of work around, the way they built this because I really want to play Industrial Frontier, and I keep trying and trying to play it, and it keeps trying to stop me because it's like just silly stuff, and I'm like, oh, I think I finally figured out a way to overcome their poor logistics, and it's like, nope. And so, all right, guys, I think I'm going to take a break. I hope you enjoyed that. Kind of get some ideas of what I'm doing, and just trying to kind of grasp at straws for what I want to do next. I'm kind of a little bit not knowing what I want to do next in games, so I'm trying to think of getting maybe back in Industrial Frontiers. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.